Hey, this is Travis. In the last several videos, we've been talking about Web3 tokens in terms of their dynamics, their properties, use cases, the major categories. So far, I've talked mostly about fungible tokens. These are tokens that can be exchanged with one another in a one-to-one, like they're the same value. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about non-fungible tokens and how they are powering the world of crypto media. Let's get into it. So let's just start back at the concept of fungibility. Fungibility just means that two things can be replaced with one another. They have equivalent value. Currency is a great example of something that is fungible. One $10 bill is the same as another $10 bill. We can trade them with each other, and that would be a fair trade because $10 bills are fungible, even though that the pieces of paper that they're printed on are different, that they were printed at different times in different parts of the country. These things are fungible. Non-fungibility is actually is really more common in the real world. Really, a lot of things are non-fungible, like the family heirloom that your grandparents passed down to you is non-fungible. Your house is non-fungible. The life memories that you have is non-fungible. The Mona Lisa and the Louvre is non-fungible. These are things where there's really no replacement. There's no replacement to the original Mona Lisa in the Louvre. So taking back this concept of fungibility to the digital world of Web3, we have fungible tokens, which can be exchanged with one another. So any one Bitcoin that you have is the exact same as the other million Bitcoins out there. But there are now these things called non-fungible tokens, which can make digital files scarce for the first time. So what do I mean by this? I mean, right now, like this image, for example, is I could copy it, I could paste it into an email, and I could send it to 1,000 different people all with one click. And that is an example of me replicating a JPEG 1,000 times at effectively no cost to myself. So digital files are not scarce at all. We're used to sharing digital information with everyone. Think of all the pictures and videos that you share and like and message on Instagram and Facebook and iMessage and all that, right? Now, NFTs, non-fungible tokens, make it to where we can make these digital files, whether it's text, whether it's video, image, audio, any of these media files, we can make them scarce. We can make it so that there's only a one-of-one copy of a digital file. And so this makes this digital file rare or scarce. It's one of one, and we've never been able to do this before until blockchains have come along. So just like fungible tokens, anyone can launch an NFT or a non-fungible token on these smart contract blockchains. But instead of launch, it's really called mint. We can mint these NFTs on the blockchain. Now, perhaps the most obvious use case and really the first mainstream use case for NFTs has been to sell one-of-a-kind digital art. This really exploded on Ethereum back in 2021. And some of these digital art files were getting in the tens of millions of dollars. So I'll show you the most popular NFT ever sold was by an artist named Beeple. And the Beeple is an artist who created a digital image or a digital artwork every single day for 14 years. He was trying to improve his digital art skills. And people caught on to this and thought it was cool. And then the blockchain came along, and then NFTs came along. And then what he did was he made a collage of all of his artworks over 14 years, his digital artworks, right? So it starts from maybe perhaps the early days, and it gets into just more and more sophisticated stuff. And this is a collage of 14 years worth of work. And this piece of art sold for $69 million. This was the most expensive NFT that was ever sold, and it was the third most expensive artwork that was paid for a work of art done by a living artist. So it really made history in a lot of ways. And this was the highest earning NFT, but there's many other NFT artists out there like Pac. He has his works of art. His NFT art has sold for $440 million. Beeple, we just talked about, somebody named Tyler X Hobbs, right? There's a lot of people that are still making almost $100 million with some of their NFT art. So these are the top earners, but it's a very popular thing right now for one-of-a-kind digital art. So the next evolution in NFTs has been something called PFPs, or profile picture NFTs. Instead of one digital art file, these are collections of NFTs, usually 10,000 individual avatars in a lot of cases. These are visual avatars because, look, they're all headshots of people, and you can see that they're all kind of similar in some way. It's part of a collection that has this theme. In the case of CryptoPunk, it's this 8-bit style, visual style. But they're all kind of different in terms of their color, their background color. Some are smoking a vape, some are smoking cigarettes, some are smoking cigars, some aren't smoking, some have sunglasses, some don't. They all have different hairstyles. These are called attributes, okay? So there's 10,000 CryptoPunks, and if I just randomly click on one, then we can see here are some of the attributes down here. This is a male with stringy hair. Only 5% of the 10,000 CryptoPunks have this stringy hair right here and a normal beard. And so these attributes and those attribute combinations make some of these NFTs more or less rare within the overall collection. So the two most popular NFT collections right now by far are CryptoPunks. This is the original, done by Larva Labs, and then something called Bored Ape Yacht Club, or BAYC. And these collections have gotten extremely expensive. Do you see how it's kind of the same style as CryptoPunks? 10,000 of these avatars minted. However, it's its own theme, right? With these crazy monkeys doing weird things, and they all have different attributes, okay? Now, the cheapest price to get a BAYC NFT right now is 107 ETH, which, let's just say 107 ETH times, let's say ETH is like $2,800 right now, then that is around $300,000 just to get one of these avatars into your wallet. And you can then say that you own a BAYC or that you're a member. So communities have grown up around this. They have their own Discord servers and they talk in there. And these have become exclusive clubs. And again, the membership has not been cheap. Now I'm looking at all these NFTs on a platform called OpenSea. This is a very popular product type within the NFT ecosystem. It's probably the most important NFT infrastructure. This is an NFT Marketplace. It's kind of like eBay, where if I own an NFT, I can come on to OpenSea, I can list it, and I could say for an auction ending at this time, or maybe it's a buy it now for this price, and people can come in with the auctions and they can place bids. So they can connect their Web3 wallet to the OpenSea D app, place bids on it, and if I'm the winner, then my ether gets transferred to the owner, and then the NFT gets transferred into my Web3 wallet. And this all happens in a decentralized, permissionless way using OpenSea smart contracts on the back end. But I wanted to, just talk about that. This NFT marketplace is very important if you're a Web3 product designer to understand this type of infrastructure. And OpenSea is the most popular in terms of the secondary sales of NFTs, but there are also other platforms like Super Rare is one, Nifty Gateway. These have NFT drops by popular artists like Pac and other popular NFT artists. And then also there are NFT marketplaces that have that curate more specialized kinds of NFTs. Like there's a really cool genre of NFT called generative art. It's like these smart contract, like these code algorithms that are generating the actual NFT image. It's a really cool idea. And so there are specialized platforms like that called, one is called Async Art and another is called art blocks. Okay, so those are the specialized platforms. Now, NFTs are much more than just visual art. This was really just the first and most obvious use case for what an NFT can do. You can think of doing this with any other media file. So people on platforms like Catalog are now purchasing one-of-a-kind songs, like singles released by artists or albums. Okay. So you can purchase these, and this NFT is going to be transferred into your Web3 wallet. You can also go to something like mirror.xyz, and this is like, it's really interesting. It's like a blogging platform, but then you can mint your blog post into an NFT, and then people can purchase those NFTs. Multiple people can, and you can fundraise for a project in this way. So somebody who made a documentary of Ethereum, like the production value was pretty good, they created a mirror.xyz post explaining what they wanted to do, and then they used their blog post as a fundraising mechanism for the actual Ethereum documentary. So it's a really cool and interesting idea, and it's using NFTs in order to as the fundraising mechanism. And the last thing to say is that some of the internet protocols that we talked about way back in the beginning, some made by the independent researcher Tim Berners-Lee, I hope that I said his name right, he minted an NFT of some of the original internet source code and sold that NFT for $5.4 million. So this is why I say it's not just virtual art. NFTs are enabling crypto media in general. And it's not just crypto media. It's actually NFTs are, I think Chris Dixon said this, that they're a new primitive for the internet. It's this new design primitive. And as product designers, it's so important, I think, to understand NFTs, to understand some of the emerging use cases for them, because visual art and even crypto media, it's just the beginning. We're just starting to scratch the surface, and there's so much experimentation happening right now with NFTs. So let me talk a little bit about that. So first of all, let's go back to how I talked about the community memberships that are going around these NFT collections like BAYC. So you can, if you have an NFT in your wallet, you can make exclusive online events so that only the people holding these NFTs can enter the event. Maybe it's a private Discord server. And you could even extend it to in-person events where maybe you scan your Web3 wallet and they make sure that you have a BAYC NFT in order to get into those in-person events. So that is just such an interesting idea, and we're just starting to see the beginnings of that. Also, a decentralized autonomous organization, or a DAO, named Friends with Benefits is doing something similar with in-person admissions. So that's just something to look into. Another thing that NFTs do, again, NFT is a non-fungible token. This is a it's a smart contract code file that gets deployed to the blockchain that tells the metadata of what the NFT is. So if it's an image, then they're going to provide an image URL in the metadata smart contract file. I don't want to get into that, but all of that is to say that these tokens, fungible and non-fungible tokens, can be programmed with arbitrary utility. Really, the sky is the limit. Whatever people think of, you can code into a non-fungible token. So let me give you an example. So let's say that a really popular artist creates a song and or an album, for instance, and they can code into the NFT that they want 10% of the royalties of that song into perpetuity. So they create a song, they sell it to one person, that one person sells it to another person, and they get 10% of that secondary sale. That crypto 10% is automatically routed to the artist's wallet address. So you can handle things like royalties without these bulky legal processes and contracts that probably have to go down right now in the music industry. You can literally just code this directly into the NFT. That NFT's code can never change because it's an immutable smart contract on the Ethereum blockchain or any other smart contract blockchain. And you can handle things like NFTs as well. And now there's a site called royal.io where these artists can create this music and then they can sell royalty rights to other people like end users like me. And so that I would have a claim to a portion of the secondary sales of this song going into perpetuity. So there's so much business model innovation happening here with NFTs. And again, we're just starting to scratch the surface. Really, we're only talking about things like Cryptomedia, but eventually I think that NFTs are going to be like a portable identity for us. So in a previous video, I talked about how like we're locked into these Web 2 social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram, and it's expensive, or it's difficult for us to move to another platform because they have all of our user data and our profile exists on that platform by itself. But maybe an NFT that we can carry around in our Web3 wallet and take into any decentralized app is eventually going to act as our digital identity. So we'll see more about this later on. And then also there's the use case of making your digital property an NFT. So let's say that I go into Decentraland, which is a metaverse on the Ethereum blockchain, and I can buy land in there, so I can own that land. And then I can have different clothing and accessories to customize my virtual character. And so all of those clothing and accessories in that land can be represented as an NFT that I hold in my wallet and that I can take anywhere throughout any metaverse, whether it's Decentraland, whether it's Facebook Meta's new metaverse that's coming out, like whichever one, as long as it's compatible with Web3, I own that digital property, and so I can take it with me. It is portable digital property. So that is an overview on non-fungible tokens. I hope you all got a good amount of value out of this series where I talked about Web3 tokens in general. I talked specifically about native Web3 tokens, or Web3 tokens that are native to crypto networks like Ether to Ethereum, Sia coin to the Sia network, and how that aligns the incentives of all the stakeholders in that crypto network. Could be end users, could be developers, could be nodes who are the service providers of that crypto network. It aligns everyone so that they want the network to grow and prosper. That is the main dynamic of a Web3 token, especially these fungible tokens. Then I talked about the different categories of Web3 fungible tokens: utility token, security tokens, stable coins. And then within utility tokens, there's a lot of other use cases that are sprouting up. So go back to that other video if you haven't seen it. I talked about token launches, some issues with token launches, and the tokenomics or the token economics of these Web3 tokens. I talked about the upcoming regulation that we might see from the SEC and how that's going to change the Web3 token landscape. It's really going to affect the evolution of Web3 in general. And then finally, we ended with this talk on non-fungible tokens and all the exciting use cases and experimentation that is happening right now with that. So thank you guys all for watching, and I will see you in the next series. Thank you.